welcome back to my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. If any of you remember this card, I got quite a few responses from this card, and I also had a subscriber that asked me if I would show some more of this design, but using some different products. So I am fulfilling that request today. So what I'm going to do, I have several different cards. I want to show you this one first. This is one where I did the same layout, but I did it just a tiny bit different by using the banners from the Stylish Shapes. And that's these guys right here. Oh, no, it wasn't Stylish Shapes. I'm sorry. It was Nested Essentials. So I used the two dies that I used the most was the Nested Essentials, and I used these banners right here, and the Stylish Shapes, which also give me the circle, and then also Spotlight on Nature, which was this grouping right here. So I've revisited this card, kind of upped it a little bit with some different designs and some different stamp sets and embossing folders. And I want to show you what I came up with. Like I said, this is one that I did, and we're going to do another one very similar to this, but I'm going to use something different. So let's work on that one first. That one is going to be, our card base is going to be that beautiful peach pie. That's one of our new in colors. I'm going to use the cute crochet embossing folder. I'm using a piece of paper from Unbound Beauty, I believe. Yes, the Unbound Beauty. Unbound Beauty is a gorgeous pack of paper, and you've got all of those new in colors. And the piece that we're going to be using today is this one here. And let's lay this over here for just a moment. I'm using those banners, and I have the larger one in white, and the smaller one in white, the larger one in the peach pie. And you can see how gorgeous this paper pairs with both the peach and with the white. So let's go ahead and get started. And what we're going to do first, I'm going to show you how to cut your card base. The easiest way for me was to use my trimmer, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this in at 4 1/4, and we are going to cut down, come down to 2 3/4. So you've got this little side piece right here. Line it up at the 2 3/4, just like that. Sink your blade down in, and then cut up. Then lift your arm, bring that cut blade down out of your way, and then take your score blade and bring it down to the bottom and score up. This is going to give you your cutaway place here. Now you're going to line this up into your trimmer, like so. Bring it over to 2 3/4. Bring your cut blade back up to your score line. Line it up at the 2 3/4 line. I'm sorry, at the 4 1/4. You've got it lined over here at 2 3/4. So at 4 1/4, you're going to sink that cut blade and cut up, and that piece should just slide right out. And this is going to give you your fold perfectly every time. So that's the simple way to get your cut. Now I'm going to take my bone folder, and I want to go ahead and give this a good burnish so it lays down really well. Let's go ahead and bring up our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We're going to do some embossing and cutting. I'm going to zoom you out a little bit so that you can see. Open this up, and I'm going to emboss first, because when I emboss, I believe this is a 3D embossing folder. We're going to try it, and if it doesn't work, we'll put the other plates in. I'm going to line that up on that registration line right there. You can see it from the front. there's a line that goes across the bottom of all of our folders. We're going to bring in our number 1 plate, our embossing folder. You always, if at all possible, have your closed end going in first, and then our number 4 specialty plate. And it is a 3D embossing folder. I could feel it the minute it grabbed in. And this is what we have. Isn't that gorgeous? That's going to be so pretty in the background on that card. All right, so we've got that done. And now we need to do some die cutting. So I'm going to bring it back over. I'm going to grab my number 2 plate, which is my die adapter. And I have a very worn and loved number 3 cut plate. And I dedicate this to all my cutting, which means I cut into that, and I use this as my cover plate. You can see it's not cut into. It is scarred a little bit, but not cut. So I'm going to take my banner, both of my banners, and I'm going to lay them in. If you notice, I laid them at an angle, because anytime you're cutting a straight edge, if you put it in an angle, it takes the stress off of your machine and your dies. So those are done. So let's lay them over here. And I think that's all the cutting that we need to do for right now. So let's bring everything back over. And the first thing I want to do is go ahead and glue down my background. And this is going to go inside your card. And I'm just going to use some regular glue. I'm going to turn it sideways just so it gives me a little bit better vantage point of getting this nice and straight. Once I get it in there, then I'm going to give it a good press. Let me zoom y'all back down a little bit. Whoops. Like that. And now we're going to close this and we're going to put our mats on. So I have 2 pieces of white that I cut at 4 by 2.5. And that's going to mat perfectly right here. Now all the measurements are going to be on the website. So I'm going to put this in like that. And then I'm going to take a piece of the designer series paper and we're going to put that on like that. And then these pieces are going to go like this. And this one will get stamped and will go like that. Isn't that gorgeous? Just such a pretty, but yet very simple card design that you can use for any type of occasion. This is what I love about this design. So, and then on the inside, we're also going to mat this inside flap, just like we did the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all glued down. And we are going to start with, I'll tell you what, let's start with this. And I'm hoping what I'm doing by showing you how to make this card using different things that you can just pull out whatever you have. You might not have the same dies, but you can do this with any type of die, any type of circle, rectangle, banner, shapes. What would be really pretty is doing some label dies, punch out. Anything that's like a label will work beautifully on this. So I'm going to come down to about there, and I'm going to pick that up and hold my finger. And I know that I only want glue on that part, so I'm going to make myself a line, and then I'm not going to go below it. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to make sure, for lining it up there, that I'm below the glue. And I am going to move it over a little bit, so I'm centering it from the outside, making sure everything's nice and straight. And that looks really good. Now we have this piece. Now this piece I want to stamp on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp a leaf like that and a little flower like that. And then I'm going to do I might not do all that. Maybe I think I'll just do this. And this comes from the layered leaves. And it's this little rosebud right here. So I'm going to grab my peach pie. I think I'm going to do it like at an angle, like that. And then to go over the top of it, it looks like Petunia Pop is in this designer series paper. So I'm going to stamp over my flower with Petunia Pop. And I chose the font or the sentiment from this stamp that says "For You." And then we're going to nestle this on top, but I am going to pop it up on dimensionals. Let me close my ink pad before I put my hand in it and make a mess. Now this one we can put dimensionals all over the back because it's going to center over top of that one. So I'm going to put maybe 5. I like to make sure that my sentiments or anything that I put down is well balanced so that when it goes through the mail, it doesn't get torn up. So now we can bring this up and just center it on top, just like that. And then we need to do something for our inside. And I think for it, I am going to do like I did for this one. Now this one I used that same paper, but in a different color. I used the Summer Splash, and I used the little teacup from Everyday Details, and I stamped that little cup right there. And the Grateful for You came from Layers of Beauty. So that's what I used on this one. And I tied a bow using the Summer Splash ribbon that's in the In Color pack. And if you see what I did, I took the squares from Stylish Shapes and I put them in a diamond pattern. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take more one there out of the peach pie and the smaller one out of white. And we're going to bring up our die cut machine again. The little things that you do for your cards, like layering, is what makes them so beautiful, or at least I think so. So never be afraid to try different layers in your cards. It's just a great way to add your personal touch and, play around with it. That's the fun part of crafting. Play with what you have and make something beautiful. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to lay it like this. So I'm take that off just for a minute, and we're going to stamp this in the peach pie. So pretty. Love that font. All right, so now we can bring our card back over. And what you want to do when you put this down is you want to bring it down as close to the bottom as you can to cover that up. So when you close the card, you don't see that. You won't see it until it's open. And right there is just about perfect. So I'm going to take and put glue on the back. And then I'm going to position it double check before I press. That looks good. Then I'm going to press it down. And then this one is ready to go on too. And I'm not going to put dimensionals on this because it's inside the card and I don't want any bulk. Just like that. Now let's grab our dimensionals and see what we have in the end colors. These are adhesive back dapple dots. So let's use the little pumpkin pie ones. I'll grab my take your pick tool and I'm going to slide off. I think I want one right there. Let's do one right there. And let's do a little one, maybe right here. Now the only thing we got left to put on there is a bow. And with this, I don't know if I want to do white or if I want to do, I think I'm going to do white because I think the white will show really well. And this is the white frayed gross grain ribbon. And all I'm going to do is tie a simple knot bow, which is basically you take your ribbon and you just make a simple knot like that. And then you take your scissors and cut it. And oops. And cut it. We'll put our little bow right there. And this card is done. How simple was that? And it's so pretty, elegant, and different. I think that's why everybody liked this card so well. And I hope by me revisiting this card, you're getting some new ideas. And I want to thank my subscriber for mentioning this because it is a great idea. So there is this card. Is that not beautiful? So we have one like that, one like this. Now let's go ahead and look at some other ones that I have planned. Let's do one for Christmas. Now this one is going to go a little bit faster because I already have everything kind of pre-cut and pre-stamped and everything. I even have my bow. So with this one, I used a Night of Navy. I've already cut and folded my cardstock. I have my pieces all ready to go in. Let's do the same pattern that we did earlier. Let's put our inside piece, and I use the snowflake embossing folder called Snowflake Sky 3D. It's a beautiful folder. All these products I will have listed on my blog. So I may do a new tutorial for these. And let's lay this in. Like that. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. And then we're going to take, here's our pieces, and this comes from the Countryside Inn paper. And it's not even Christmas paper, but look how pretty it works with this Night of Navy. So I am going to, let's put these down here first. Let's glue these down to our white mats. You'll see there's the back of it with the little critter, the little fox. Such a pretty pack of paper. I'm glad that they brought this one back, and this is the first time I've known Stamping Up to bring back some of their designer series paper. I think this one was very popular. And let's do this. And I want to let y'all know that the mailing has already went out for the new mini catalog that will go live in September, which will be the one with all of the beautiful Christmas stuff. So be on the lookout for your catalog. It should show up in your mailbox. If you're a customer of mine or you have requested a catalog, you should get one in your mailbox from me. They are mailed out directly from Stamping Up. Put that right there. Then we'll put this one inside. And if you pre-cut your pieces and stack everything, these are cards that are so easy to mass produce. They're not hard to do at all. So now we have, this was an online exclusive stamp set. You can see by my red dot. So let's go ahead and move on. So what we want to do here is we want to center this exactly where we want it, like that. And then we're going to glue this down to it, just like, isn't that beautiful? I love it. I love the balmy blue. This is balmy blue, and it matches the little specks in that very well. So I'm going to bring it about halfway, like that. And I'm going to put glue halfway on it. So maybe right here, around. Put lots of glue on there. And then I'm going to open it up, making sure that I'm below that glue line. And then I can even it up on the front. Just like that. Give it a nice little rub. And then this is going to glue down on top of that. So again, lots of glue. And this one you want to be nice and straight. And that snowman's so stinking cute. And I just stamped him in Memento ink. Then I used my alcohol blends to color. And I used Real Red, Shaded Spruce, Pecan Pie, and Smoky Slate on the sleigh, and the Balmy Blue, and the Blue Azure, no, Blueberry Bushel, and of course the Pumpkin Pie for his little nose, and the basic black for his hat. And it was so easy to color this, and it's so stinking cute. Look at that. I love it. Now for my gems for this, I am going to put my bow right here. So again, we're going to need a glue dot. So I'm going to put that little bow on there, and this is an iridescent. I'm not sure, I didn't check to see if this has been retired. It may be, but any white and silver ribbon that you might have will work great with this. And then for our gems, we are going to use my all-time favorites, which are the Rhinestone Basic Jewels. I love those. They go with everything, but especially if you have a snowy scene. So let's pull out a couple of these, and I'm not going to skimp on these. I'm going to be very giving. I am going to put some on my tree. Look how pretty those are. I'm not going to do it on all of them, but I just want some of them to have that shimmer, like that. And then I'm going to open my card up, and these snowflakes that we can see, I'm going to put a small one on my snowflakes. Like that. And that's so pretty. Oh, so pretty. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is make something for the inside. Okay, I am back, and after I got everything situated and kind of my desk cleaned off somewhat, I decided I wanted to go back and I want to finish up the inside of this card. So what I'm doing is I got a sentiment that says, "Let it snow." It came from the online exclusive set called Sophisticated Sled. And it's just a simple little tiny um, sentiment that says, "Let it snow." And I'm going to stamp it in my VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Sorry about that. Um, I like this ink when I'm doing a sentiment, and I'm hoping I'm going to get a good impression because I am stamping on a uneven surface. So let's hope for the best. Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. Then for my inside, I went ahead and cut another one of these, and I want it to go down toward the bottom. And I have a white circle, just like we do on the front, that I cut from the Spotlight on Nature. Both of these came from there. And on the inside of this, I don't want to do it in the black. I want to go with Night of Navy. And we are going to stamp Merry Christmas. No, I decided not to. Um, I wonder if the celebrate will work across this one. No, it's a little bit too big. Okay, regrouping. And we're going to grab from this Sophisticated Sled that says, "I hope your days are filled with fun and laughter." So I think that's a beautiful sentiment for this particular card. So I'm going to come kind of in the middle. And let's grab a stamp block. Beautiful. And one other thing I thought would be so cute on here, we have a little cardinal. And I'm going to stamp him right there. And I think I'm going to do him in black. But I'm going to come back and color him, so I want to stamp him in Memento. And he's going to go right there. So cute. And I'll come back and color him in just a minute. But you can get the gist of this card and how pretty this is going to be. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this. And center it right there. And then we're going to put glue on the back of this. And I'm going to put this toward the bottom. Check and make sure everything hides. It does. And then press it down. And I'm just going to take my light real red. And I'm just going to put it like that and come back with the dark. Maybe even a cherry cobbler. Let's go with the light cherry cobbler. And give him a little definition. Something like that. And then he looks beautiful. And we're going to do his little bill. And like that. And now I feel like this card is complete. So that one's done. Now the one that I'm bringing you that I think you're going to enjoy this one too. This one I'm using my card base is Cajun Craze. And I'm using the designer series paper that comes in the neutrals, the regals, the brights, and the subtles. And I'm using the neutral, and I'm using this pattern right here with the stripes. Beautiful pack of paper. And every year we get new patterns in our designer series paper that is gorgeous. Fall leaves. It's made to do partial. So I'm going to put it in like this and run it through the die cut machine. I think it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to bring it down just a hair like that. And let's go ahead and run this through. Right. So let's take this out and see how pretty this turned out. Oh, look at, is that not beautiful? I love this. It's so fall. Right, we're gonna bring our pieces back in. And like I said, there's my card base. This is gonna go in like this. So let's go ahead and glue that in. This make you want pumpkin pie or pumpkin coffee or pumpkin something. Okay, I've got my matte piece and my DSP cut, and these are going to go here. So let's go ahead and I need to varnish this down a little bit. And then we're going to put our glue on the back side. I like that stripe for this card. Give it a press. And we have another one. We'll do the same thing. One for the front and one for the inside front. And putting it on the inside is totally optional. If you wanted to leave it blank or even a place there to write a note, you could do that as well. So it's totally up to you. Remember, it's your card. You can do whatever you want to do. I am merely making suggestions. Look how pretty that is. Love it. All right, we're going to put glue on the back of this. And then center this on this piece. So, and that's so pretty. Now let's open it and put the piece on the inside. Then I cut a piece of this out of crumb cake, and I cut this out of white. And even though it's dark, it really brings out the white in this, so I do like that. I use the stamps called Rustic Crate, and I use this image right here, and good things take time. And I use my alcohol blends to color these. I use lemon lolly and wild wheat, Cajun craze, mossy meadow, summer splash, pumpkin pie, and peach pie. So I have a combination of colors on this piece, and I love it. I think it turned out beautiful. So we're just going to glue that onto here. Do I want to pop it up? Oh, why not? We're going to pop this one up. So I'm going to put maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And put one in the middle. And I'm just going to pull these off. Grab my take your pick tool. I can usually pick them off much faster with it. Now, when you use dimensionals like this, you have to be careful when you set it down because it's going to grab. If you think you're going to need some wiggle room, here's a tip. Take a little bit of glue and just dab it on these dimensionals. It serves two purposes. It'll give you a chance to slide it, and it'll also give you some extra adhesive so it won't come off. So it's sort of a win-win. So I'm going to lay this right here, and then I'm going to sit that down like that. See how it gives me that little bit of wiggle room? And now I'm just going to hold it and let it adhere. And again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sit this down, get an idea of where we want it. And I think right there's beautiful. Turn it over. For this one, I think I'm going to just draw a little bit of a line. And I know if I stay below that line, I'm good. I'm going to hold my finger right there at the top and line that up with that mark. That should give me exactly where I need to be. Press it down. Oh, so pretty. And I think for this one, because it is a little more rustic looking, I'm going to grab my linen thread. Okay, I'm going to do my loopy bow. About like that. I'm going to cut it. Okay, I'm going to tie that off like that. It did give me a beautiful loopy bow. Isn't that pretty? That's going to look very rustic on there. So I'm glad I went through the little bit of the pain to get that to work. And I'm going to put a glue dot behind here. I'm going to take this one off with my finger because I want to roll it. I don't need it to be real big. And I'm going to put it right there. And I'm going to stick this right into that glue dot. Beautiful. Now let's see if we can find some gems that will go on this. I need something rustic. And I found them all about autumn. These are retired, but these are going to work beautifully. Anything that you've got that's in a brown or a Cajun type color will work wonderful on this card. So let me grab my take your pick. And I want to use these darker ones. And I want to put one right there. And maybe one right there. And I'm going to put one. Two. And three. Right there. Isn't that pretty? Now we got to do our inside. So I've already pre-cut my pieces for the inside. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring it down to about there. Make sure it's covered. It is. And then I'm going to stamp "You're such a blessing" because the front says "Good things take time" and "You're such a blessing." I love that. And I think I'm going to stamp this in the Cajun Craze. Now we're just going to center this on top of that using some liquid glue. Bring it down to the bottom. Make sure everything's hid, and it is. And give it a good press. Well, this was fun. I am so glad that I got this request because it really helped me to step outside of what would be my normal comfort zone. When I made this card, I fell in love with it like so many of you did, but now I may have new favorites. Look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? So you tell me, what is your favorite? Let me zoom y'all out a little bit so hopefully we can get them all on the screen. Something like that. Aren't they gorgeous? So let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. Do you like the fall or do you like the winter? Or are you more prone to the ones that have some bright colors on them, like the summer splash and the peach pie? These look very summery, but yet they're still beautiful. And then we have our winter card and a fall card. So I would say spring, summer, fall, and winter. So there's our seasons all covered in 4 beautiful cards with this design that so many of you fell in love with. God bless and keep you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're interested in any of the products that I've showed today in the making of any of these cards, please reach out to me or just go to the link that's below this video and go to my online Stamping Up store. You can place an order directly from there. If you have trouble ordering and you want to call me, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks again so much. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring honor and glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Jesus is the reason for the season, and let's always give him the honor and praise that he so richly deserves. Until next time, God bless and keep you. Bye bye.